When we heard that you were gone, we felt a shadow cross our hearts. We're nobody, and Neil is our hero. We're discussing the Rush song, Nobody's Hero.
Every Rush song.
Which is one of Jay's favorite songs from Counterparts, am I right?
You are right. Absolutely. That's correct.
Tell us, Jay. Why do you like this song, Nobody's Hero? What does it do for your feelings?
Well, I like the fact that it's a very, for the time, we're talking 1993. This would be considered pretty woke for the time, as far as some of the lyrics, especially the first verse. But I just like the sensitivity of this song, and I like the fact that it's pointing out that it's not the stereotypical heroes that you that are in the world that you think it's the everyday guy, the everyday girl, the everyday that's just, they're the ones that are the real heroes. Except for Superman.
I kind of lived that first verse. You and I remember working, we can probably say the name, Teleservice Resources, Jay, where you worked there, I worked there, friend Darren worked there, some other friends, and we were definitely the straight minorities in that place, and made friends there, went to parties where I was a straight minority, and after a life of, being brought up in a pretty religious household, you'll remember from how we got into Rush that I had to throw away all my rock records at some point when I was a kid to go out and make friends with some, a lot of homosexual people, and then realize, they're pretty much just like me. We have different tastes in who we date, but other than that, we're just alike.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because I think it was around the same time that this song came out, that when I was working, company I worked for, one of the people I worked, one of my coworkers, he was a friend of mine. We hang out a lot. There's him and me and a couple of girls. We'd go just after work and just hang out, drink, have a good time. And I knew he was gay, but he was afraid to tell me he was gay because he's afraid that I wouldn't be his friend anymore. And he was right, because as soon as he told me, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. No, but I'm like, dude, I know you're gay, so just stop. It made no difference, but it also enlightened me. And I'm like, because he's told me he didn't want to be gay. It's just the way he was built, the way he was born. And so, I learned from him, and he was a good guy. And but I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if I have no idea. It's kind of like the line in the song, as years go by, we drifted apart.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is. And not just with him, but with a lot of people in our lives.
Yeah. I had a lot of friends there that drifted apart from, and maybe now's the time to go back and find them on Facebook or something and see. No,
we're good.
Okay. Never mind.
Although I do want to find this guy, because he was a cool dude. I liked it.
Let's do that. Let's go see his band. Oh, he's not a musician.
He's not a musician. No.
Oh, never mind. Don't bother.
Yeah, we won't see his band.
No, you should though. That would be interesting. Yeah.
But he doesn't have a band. I don't want to see his band.
Oh no, just him as a person, just your old friend.
That's a good point. So I want to know. I took a lot of notes on this song. By the way, this is the second of 2 singles from Counterparts. The first one being "Stick It Out."
Only 2 singles. Was it a hit? How did it do? How did Nobody's Hero do?
Nobody's Hero. I didn't actually look that part up. But I'm betting it didn't. It didn't go too high up in the charts.
Are you absolutely sure about that? Because I remember Q102 back when they were Q102,
Texas best,
playing Animate, and it was either on the Bo and Jim show or Redbird.
Yeah.
Playing the song and then afterwards talking about that wicked bass playing that Getty did on Animate. So
yeah, but they played a lot.
Q102 was playing it.
Yeah, they played a lot of, like, they played deep cuts though. They played songs that not a lot of normal.
But I think at that time, the only deep cuts you were hearing from bands were the older deep cuts.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, when Rush would put out a new album, you'd hear the one song, maybe two or three, Counterparts 3, but you'd only hear it for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then you would stop hearing the new material until like the week before Rush was going to be in town.
Right.
And then you'd hear that song again. No, they'd go back to playing Tom Sawyer, Limelight, Spirit of Radio, and the Trees, and Closer to the Heart. That's all, and Free Will. That's all you'd ever hear on the radio. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that locally, we got more than just Nobody's Hero and Stick It Out.
Well, I mean, they also released, they released Animate, Cold Fire. These are in 94.
I remember hearing Stick It Out on the radio. That's really the only one from this album I remember hearing on the radio.
Well, I got my information from a source that I cannot name because it's a very secretive source.
Does it rhyme with Schmickipedia?
It might. I don't know. So the first single, Stick It Out, was #1 on the Billboard album rock track charts for 4 weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
And the instrumental, Leave That Thing Alone, was nominated for a Grammy for Best Rock Instrumental Performance.
Really?
I'd like to know who won the Grammy for Best Rock Instrumental that year.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked. The winner that year was a gentleman by the name of Steve Vai.
Okay. Yeah.
Really?
What song? Sofa.
Sofa?
Sofa.
Like couch?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But he's sandwiched like the year before and the year after. The year before, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble with Little Wing. And the year after was Pink Floyd with Marooned off of their ill-fated final album.
Interesting.
Okay.
So there you got it. And that is why I said what I said. So I did some research on the lyrics. Here's what I got on the lyrics. And I may be right, I may be crazy.
Now, is this Jay, what Jay gets, Jay's impressions of the song, or is this what you read?
This is what here's the research I did, and then here's what I got out of it.
Bueno.
Personally. So some of the lyrics are influenced by real people. The first verse, is about an AIDS-related death of a gay man by the name of Ellis Booth, who was a friend of Neil's. The verse after the first chorus was inspired by a girl who was murdered in Neil's hometown, and she was the daughter of a family friend. But the song itself, it's like a hero doesn't have to be a superhero or an actor or a star athlete or, in our day and age, an influencer.
Like us?
Like us.
Yeah.
A real hero is the everyday person. Saves a drowning child, cures a wasting disease. Heroes lands the crippled airplane, solves great mysteries. Is the voice of reason against the howling mob. Hero is the pride of purpose in the unrewarding job.
No, that.
So, but also I got a lot of, and it's in both courses of this song. there's also a little guilt for losing touch with these people that were important to you in your life. The guilt being, as years went by, we drifted apart. When I heard someone say you were gone, I felt a shadow cross my heart. So, you get the little bit of guilt for losing touch with these people that you thought a lot of, and. So overall, I mean, I think it's celebrating the common person, but it's also lamenting the fact that you lost touch with these people that were part of your life. So you're praising and then also feeling a little bad about it.
Huh. See, I don't take it as celebrating the common person. I take it as the lack of celebration for the common person who does say, I mean, yeah, for a day or two, it may be in the news, so-and-so from Garland saved his drowning child at the local swimming pool, blah, 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 blah. It may make the news.
You're welcome.
And to that family and the people there, that person's the hero that day. A little time goes by and, he's just Joe Schmo again. Or, the doctor who is doing the research and finds the cure for that disease, or,
well, I mean,
about
your point is,
those, it's the actor, the supermodel, the quarterback, the home run hitting,
putting too much
right fielder all the time on
the politician,
on that, and how many times do those people end up letting you down because they're not heroes, they're real people, and because they're in the limelight so much, that when you hear about them doing something wrong, and how disappointed you are, in that, that was my hero. I think that's what Neil is talking about. So not so much celebrating the common man, the need to celebrate the common man and the everyday hero occasions that happen. We just don't hear enough about that.
I agree with you 100%. That is the better way to put that. And I totally agree. And yay, Tim.
The difference between doing something heroic versus just being a celebrity, a good musician, or baseball player. Or
I really do love the line, the hero, the pride of purpose in an unrewarded job.
Right.
Person sticks it out every day.
Shit job that you're doing day in and day out. You're not getting any sort of anything out of it, but you're paying the bills. You're being able to support your family, put your kids through college, whatever. Or, hopefully,
man,
make them smart so they can do it themselves. But whatever. But it's, and I think we all can agree that I'm not doing what I wanted to do when I grew up.
I mean, it goes back to, the overpaid athletes, the overpaid actors, because they can memorize lines and they're good at that. But
Romeo,
when was the last time Brad Pitt performed open heart surgery and saved your grandfather?
Right.
And that doctor is doing that stuff every day. That's his job, and you're not hearing about that all the time. You're hearing about, the the number one college quarterback who got drafted number one to go play for blah, 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 blah. And he's making so much money. And what, yeah,
like
what
idiot from A&M.
We're talking about you, Johnny Football.
Johnny Football, you know.
Well, I wondered too if it was a
15
bit of a
minutes
Hope
of
you're doing
fame.
well, though, by the way.
Yeah.
Get a best of luck, bud.
if it was a play on words too, where, okay, they should be somebody's hero, but they're nobody's hero.
Right.
But also,
Yeah.
I'm nobody and you're my hero.
Right.
Or, you know, this person's nobody, you're their hero. Like a doctor, the patient's nobody and you're their hero. So you're nobody's hero. You're at least a hero versus the celebrities who are just talented at acting or playing baseball or politicizing, getting votes or whatever politicians do.
You know, it's funny. One of my favorite bands aside from Rush is Foo Fighters. And they wrote a song called There Goes My Hero. Yeah. And it's along the same lines of this song. He's ordinary. You know, there goes my hero. He's ordinary. He's not some, you know, baseball star, not some, you know, whatever superhero. The real heroes are the people that day in and day out and try to help other people and try to do what's right and try to just, you know, get by, try to do the right thing. I mean, and it's hard to be that person because you could take the easy way out, but you know, you don't. I mean, I would have could, but no,
you try to give purpose to the meaningless job.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that's sort of I don't know what you would call that, but that's sort of the Foo Fighters song is sort of it's related to that song. It's gosh, I wish I could think of the word.
I think it's
metaphor?
I think it's a certain
Segue?
French word that I don't know what.
Oh,
Yeah,
plus que la chance.
It's got a
Plus que la même chose. I just spoke French.
You know, by the way, what is the soup du jour?
I don't know. I ask every time I go.
It's the soup of the day.
Oh, that sounds nice. I'll have that.
So Hero lands the crippled airplane. Does that remind you of what it reminds me of?
It totally does. And this is long before that happened.
Right?
Yeah.
I looked up the date. January 15th, 2009, when Captain Sullenberger landed a plane in the Hudson River.
Yes.
Do you think he was listening? Do you think he was listening to the song in his head as he's landing that plane?
No.
In the Hudson River.
He's probably thinking,
God,
I just want to get this plane down and save the I don't want to hurt any. I just want to live. I just, you know, but it was birds that flew up into the engines, right? That's what happened. And I understand from some pilots that I've talked to that like that is one of the biggest, not just him, but like that's one of the biggest dangers for pilots is birds.
Yeah.
Birds. Wow.
Birds at any time can give you a very, very bad day.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Boom.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So was there a point when he said, we got to get this plane down safe, and then a safe fell from, airplane. My bad. Sorry. I just wanted to tell you good luck, and we're all counting on you.
That was one of them.
Why is Tim not laughing? Has he never seen Airplane? Never seen Airplane. Okay. Well, Jay, he
stole the show.
Lyrics.
Yeah,
I know. You already mentioned my favorite lyrics, and I was going to mention Sully, even though that happened.
Well, that was a great, because I was thinking that too, but I didn't I'm glad you brought that up.
Stole my thunder.
So I think I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again for our new listeners.
No.
this was a funny concert happening. I took a friend of mine to see Rush. It was his first concert. It was the Test for Echo tour. And they start to play Nobody's Hero. And it's at the very beginning, it's just Alex on that acoustic guitar. And people aren't yelling and screaming and stuff. Everybody's just quiet and listening. And Geddy sings, I knew he was different in his sexuality. And my friend, who does listen to this podcast, so he'll know who I'm talking about, Daniel, yells out, sex! and we were at the Star Suck Amphitheater, Starplex, or whatever it was called at the time. No. And I swear it was ringing off the walls. Just sex was just echoing. I mean, and the people in our section, they laughed. They thought that was funny, but yeah. I knew he was different in his sexuality. Sex.
Why?
I just, because number one, it's a Rush concert. And how many times do they really talk about sex in their songs?
Never.
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 I mean,
up to and including never.
Right. So, until you get to the encore and they do In the Mood, but, that's just, so it was funny for him to say that. Anyways, there you go. Thank you very kindly.
Not what I would have thought to yell at a Rush concert.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I would not have thought about that. But,
what?
So therefore, I can't ever listen to the song
without hearing
him yell sex. Yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
It's good to have fun.
It is good to have fun.
It's good to have fun.
It's fun to have
fun.
Isn't it great to be able to laugh a little?
And laughing the best thing ever.
Right.
Oh, no, that's fun. It's fun. It's the best thing ever.
Fun. Isn't fun the best thing to have?
Hobson, one more time around the park. No, that's not what he said.
No, laughing's my favorite. Elf. Laughing's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Laughing's my favorite.
Isn't fun the best thing to have, Arthur? Wow.
Susan, you're such an asshole. Oh, sorry. We're okay, right? We're explicit. I can get away with that.
We are now. I can remember the E now. Wow. Okay. I think I just put the E. I just check it just in case because
it's pronounced azaleas. Azaleas. Yes.
Well, there you have it. Nobody's hero. Tim's hero, Jay's hero, my hero. That's what we think, but we want to know what you think. Email us 2112 at every Rush song.
Oh.
Why don't you two say it? Huh? Catch us on the Soch.
Catch us on the Soch.
Wow, you didn't get your in a mixed up like I always do. Very impressive, Jay. At every Rush song. Tim, land this plane in the Hudson River. Oh, no. I'm getting
Thank you very kindly.